Hello, and today I'm going to be looking at how to create a 1940s capsule wardrobe completely for free, in my case, and potentially also free for you, or certainly nearly free. And I'm going to be explaining to you how to do it with the gorgeous pure new wool or tweed thrifted skirts you might have or find in local thrift stores. We're going to be looking at how to transform them into a 1940s capsule winter wardrobe with the help of this book, which is an original book from the 1940s on the classic make, do and mend techniques. So during the wartime rationing, people were encouraged to look at their old clothes, look at their husband's suits and transform them into new exciting garments. And today we almost have the opposite problem. We have an excess of clothes that are going into landfill, but actually the answer is the same, which is to look at the clothes we already have and transform them into something that we really want to wear. And to help us do this, because pure wool and tweed has associations with the countryside, maybe with a little frumpiness, I asked the Queen of Vintage, a major influencer on Instagram and judge in Goodwood's Best Dressed competition with Dandy Wellington, Mars Dilbert, who you might know as Life on Mars on Instagram. He puts together the most amazing outfits, including really imaginative outfits with tweed. Whether she would mind sharing with us her styling tips to look as wonderful in wools and tweeds as she does, and absolutely delighted that she said yes. So we've got that to look forward to. And first of all, I'll show you the unwanted wool clothes I have. So something I often see when people talk about decluttering or organising their wardrobe is the suggestion that give any clothes that you don't want to charity shops or thrift stores. Because my mother volunteers in charity shops, I know that a lot of clothes are unsaleable. Some of those might surprise you. So I don't think anyone would be surprised that quite worn anoraks and jeans might not be saleable. But what might surprise you are good makes, and I think that the woman who handed them over would have probably no idea that people don't buy pure wool because they feel, I guess, that it's harder to look after, to launder. All these lovely flecked pure wools. Got a checked one here. They're not in my size, they're too large, which of course is extra convenient. And they're super skirts in themselves, but obviously there's a limit to how many pure wool skirts I need. So I thought I would look at things like dresses, waistcoats, matching hats. So these are the skirts, and I stack them vertically, and you can see everything you've got. There's no better way, I think, to appreciate what they were up against in the 1940s wartime era than this, because I probably have here maybe even more fabric than they would have had. But you can see with these old skirts, nothing actually goes together. I'm lucky to have all this fabric, but if I imagine I'm in the 1940s and this is all I have, how do I create clothes that will all work well together? Let's have a look at what they advised in the original sourcebook. Here it is. And there's obviously a lot on sewing and mending, but I'm going to skip ahead to their advice on creating new clothes from old. Was Tom's, now Judy's. We can see how men's jackets, shirts and pyjamas are cut down to create women's and children's clothes. We have an example of how a men's suit has become a woman's suit, and his trousers have been adapted as well to make trousers or pants for her. Even his pyjamas were much valued to make either women's blouses or little vests with straps that just did up at the back, so you had a little bit of colour peeking through. Here there are all kinds of ideas if your coat was worn out in places, how to add extra fabric to make a new coat, or just if you were fed up with a style to create a different style of coat. 1 yard of fabric to make a dress. Here we have ideas. Now these particular ideas, some of them would be better for cotton, but what we're really seeing is how you might have to add some new fabric or combine different garments to create one new garment. So lots of really interesting ideas here. The blouse and waistcoat. Now my fabrics are all woolens, so I might want to sew something like a plain cream blouse to go with them. But I'm really interested as to how I combine my woolens or recut them to make new clothes. I rather thought I might make, I do love pinafore dresses and suspender skirts, and I thought patterns like these ones that I've already sewn might actually really lend themselves to being created in some of my unwanted wools. Here we have ideas for brightening things up with embroidery anglais, but that's more of a summer thing, isn't it? Now this is interesting. What can velveteen do? And here there are ideas for how you might combine velveteen. Here we have a sailor collar made of velveteen, which is then added to another garment. Because it's velveteen, we probably would have been adding that to a woolen garment just to make it look more pretty and interesting. And here we have a little waistcoat which is fronted with velveteen. So if you had a scrap of wool or tweed, you could add velveteen and make a little waistcoat. Here we have a plastron. Now you don't hear the word plastron very often now. And here there's a wonderful description for a jerkin, and it says jerkins are always practical if you haven't a small waistline and wearing a skirt makes you look like a pillow tied in the middle. I can't say I don't know what they're talking about. Sometimes a jerkin will bring you together middle-wise in a more flattering way. They've got one that buttons up the side and has these little pockets. Course ideas for reinvigorating a coat with velveteen collars. We have ideas for combining taffeta with old clothes to create these fancy looks, but I'm especially interested in this idea for using unwanted wool to make a little cape with a matching skull cap, or any kind of matching hat really, or perhaps a little cape with a hood. I think one of my skirts will definitely find a new life, perhaps a little cape and hat or hood. Also, of course, making little bags. I think that would be a rather wonderful idea. And these ideas are just little ones where you might buy new fabric to just add a little pop of colour to your old clothes. Here we are. If you can see, we have said many times in this book, and we would like to repeat, there is no reason ever to throw good fabric away. If it is a quality fabric, it can find a second, yes, even a third and a fourth use. What they say is you can always dye that fabric, you can retrim it, you can use it as a trimming, and you can see all these little ideas here for adding little tassels, little heart pockets, adding embroidery, cutting things down a bit and giving them a little bow in the centre, fun novelty pockets, all kinds of ideas for making your clothes seem more wearable and fun again. And then on the next page they have a little guide on how to make tassels and pom-poms to brighten up your clothes. Ah, here we are. This is what I was thinking, wasn't it? A little pinafore dress. Definitely going to have a little pinafore dress out of all my wool. And the illustration above shows how to combine a fun fabric with your wool to produce this very pretty peplum dress. And the title is When You Like the Fabric of Your Old Dress. Sort of ways to reuse that fabric, incorporating different fabrics so that you can cut away the bits that are worn out, or just restyle it if you're just very bored of your old dress. Continues the theme, too good to throw away. This is often aimed at the house dress, so it's saying if you love the fabric but the useful life of the garment is over, you can cut it down to make something else. So I can see the idea of these aprons and strapless dresses, because when you have vintage dresses, what you always know is that the first place to go is, guess what? Yes, under the armpit. So lots of ideas for creating new dresses from old dresses, and I can just instantly spot that it's the underarm area in all cases that has been cut away. In Can You Top This, we've got ways in which new fabric is added to the top of garments, a bolero, a little colour block contrast on these blouses, or inserts into these dresses. Again, the arms with the armhole area has a different fabric. So all kinds of ways, just a small bit of a new fabric can be added to an old garment to make something new. Once clothes had absolutely lived out their life, become a house coat, being used to do the housework in, once they'd really reached near the end of their life, they became children's clothes. Must have been such fun being a child then. I did see an idea for flannel suits being cut down to make underwear. Doesn't sound very comfy, does it? You can see here how something that has become a house dress, become a house robe, and then goes down to become like a little play suit. Children were freed at the end of the line when it came for clothes. However, look at all these ideas. They're still very cute. Look at the striped zebra from the stripy pyjamas. I mean, you couldn't complain about that, could you? Who wouldn't love a stripy zebra from Dad's old pyjamas? And now, what we've all, and certainly I, have been waiting for, the moment when I can show you wonderful styling tips from Mars, and I shall certainly be aspiring to style, which I guess is why influencers are called influencers, isn't it? Never really thought about it before. Actually, she's quite funny. She says, it reminds me of the word influenza. I love people that don't take themselves too seriously, don't you? Over to Mars for her truly wonderful style advice from somebody who is an artist, actually, but she is also an artist with clothes.
Hi everyone, just popping on here to sort of talk about tweed. A lot of people conceive tweed to be for the elderly gentleman or for people who just explore the countryside. But I personally love tweed. The thing about tweed is if you're going to wear it, always remember to wear something soft and feminine against your body, because it's such a durable, hard fabric that's almost in its natural state. It can be quite itchy. So today I'm wearing my trusted tweed waistcoat, which I absolutely love because it nips me quite nicely in the waist and gives me a sort of hourglass figure. And I'm wearing some +4s because of my environment that I live in. It works quite nicely for me. And I have got this jacket that I have had for a really long time, but I absolutely love it. It's a 1940s jacket. It's quite heavy and it works beautifully with almost everything, and it is also quite stylish, and I just love the fit, love how it works on my body. You can also wear another outer layer if it's a very cold day. I personally think you should invest in a walking jacket or something like a raincoat, like a MAC that is a few sizes too big, because it's just so beautiful when there is layer on top of layer. It adds a lot of interest to the outfit, and it's also artistic expression. And for me, I am wearing today this French scarf that I picked up a while back and just had it to the back of the because I think scarves add a lot of feminine touches to tweed, especially when it's silk. And my trusted beret, of course. And I always carry a small bag because I think that a handbag can look quite formal with tweed. It's really nice to carry a satchel or something simple. And my suede gloves. I love suede and tweed together because I think that the textures work beautifully. The soft and the hard, the light and the dark. You know, the opposites attract, as you guys know. And it just sets off the old look and ties everything in together. And I'm wearing the legacy of Petra because perfumes play an important part to what I wear for the day or the mood I am in. And I'm in an exploring mood today, so hence Petra, give it a few squirts. I'm very careful about how much I use because I love this. And yeah, here we go. That's my tweed look for the day. And as I said, I'll probably add another outer layer if it's cold, or if it's not, this is just perfect. Have a nice day, guys. Bye.
Look what I've got. I know, more, but let me show you why. So these, yes, they did come into my mother's charity shop, thrift store, but look, £3. I mean, she's actually paid for these, but all wool French, £3. Actually, that is the original label, so obviously Peony all £3. This fabric was bought a little while ago, but that's what it's like around here. It's full of old ladies with cottages full of haberdashery and fabrics. Do you think I might become one? So I've got now to join my stash of woolen clothes to be remade into a capsule wardrobe. I have these gorgeous lengths of fabric, and of course it is easier to work with fabric rather than be ripping apart seams and pressing out fabrics. And also the colours go so well together, so pretty. So I'm absolutely delighted. I'm going to be at this wool tweed capsule wardrobe for a few winters to come, aren't I? So the reason that we're in my bathroom, thought you might wonder, is because I suddenly realised, look, badger and toad. I mean, aren't they modelling tweed just fabulously? The thing that I really like, I mean seriously, the thing that I really like is I love the russet red or that little bit of sharp greeny yellow with the tweed. I mean, I like to think that my proportions are a little different to, well, either badgers or toads. Fortunately, the light is slightly shining on toad, isn't it? But hopefully you'll see what I mean about the colour combinations with the tweed. And I guess when you think about it, illustrators know a thing about colour harmonies, don't they? It's not as crazy as it might at first appear. So we've got his lovely toady yellowy green with the russet red, and then Badger's wonderful peaty brown with the russet red. And I think that is a colour combination that I might employ for my capsule wardrobe based on, no one will even know, well, you'll know, based on Badger and Toad. Thank you very much for joining me. A huge thank you to Mars for all her wonderful tips, which I intend to employ, probably not with as much effect, but I can but try, to my capsule wardrobe. And obviously it's a huge undertaking. I'm not expecting to finish it by the end of this winter, so it will be an ongoing thing, and perhaps you'll join me. And having seen what I've got, I would be hugely grateful for any ideas that you have or things that you think that I should sew with all this wool tweed, which doesn't necessarily go together very well, or what new fabric you think that I should buy to tie in the look of all those different tweeds. I'd be really grateful in the comments. If you think of anything, just let me know. All ideas welcome. I hope that you'll like this video, and I shall look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.